Hello there everybody and welcome back for another week of Wargames Tutorial Thursday with your host, your favorite Finn TMS. This is the weekly news and community wargame, weekly dose of weekly news and all that jazz. But as you can see, it's a slightly different view today that you are used to. And that is because I slept during the Thursday. It's Saturday now, so I've been resting the Friday and Thursday and all that. And yeah, and the reason being is that I'm sick. So I'm taking sleeping medicine, the melatonin or whatever you want to call it, and thus I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern. Unfortunately, on Thursday, it just was too much. I couldn't do it. So, forgive me for that. And, yeah. But without further ado, before I explain what's going on here, right now as I paint this thing, some of you might recognize it, some of you not. Excuse me as I was checking how much time I have left before, let's just say I'm using the phone. And it gives the 4K quality allows me to record for 6 minutes at a time, so very professional. But the news, Kim is back, sort of, and he's working on 2 jobs, which allows him to pay the bills essentially for the game. But unfortunately, it gives him very little time to actually work on it. However, there is another news is that they are changing the server providers for the multiplayer servers, partially because the current one is too expensive and they are not fully utilizing all the services they have, or maybe they even can't. But yeah. Oh god, that's way too much pain. So, they're working on changing the service provider for the interwebs, for the servers, the online servers. And I believe they're working on maybe the website too, I don't know. So that it's not what, yeah. That's more or less the news for this week. There's really nothing else. The break room in the dev section, which I should say is a break room, so it's not intended for anything, has more or less turned into a meme channel. But from what I can tell, still none of the volunteers are working on anything and all that jazz. But now to explain, what am I doing here? What is this thing that I'm painting? Well, a few of you may have recognized that this building is actually from Interstellar Marines. And it's from Resort, to be specific. It's one of the, what I like to call the suites. Suite, however do you pronounce it. And, yeah. Long story short, I have started the 40k, or in case you couldn't tell from the unboxing video on the Sikaran Battle Tank and the Tech Marine. And I have plenty of more models to come, but since I don't have anything to paint right now, and there's really nothing much for me to do as being depressed and all that jazz, as I'm sick, on sick leave, and I have no model to paint. So I decided to give it a shot making some terrain for the miniatures. And, I don't like I didn't want the usual 40k setup where it's all like this kind of religious kind of thing, Imperium and all that jazz. Because I play 30k rather than 40k. And, so I wanted to make buildings to a world that is under compliance, or soon to be under compliance. So it's maybe not part of Imperium, or it's just newly acquired. So this would be like the local whatevers. And that actually sparked me the idea that I at some point I will probably make my own table, like the gaming table for the miniatures, and I sort of want to make the wargame maps from Interstellar Marines, and this is sort of just practice to see how this one turns out. Obviously, it's made out of cardboard. It looks like shit. It's I didn't even bother trying to make this that good. If you can see, I went overboard with the whole rocks, if they are even whatever. This sand, like the roof is full of sand and whatever. I kind of went overboard with it, and yeah. I went overboard with everything, but the whole point of this is all this building really is just something to play around with. It's not intended to be perfect as such, and so my plan is to make maybe a kill team tables, because the I would have them modify, quote unquote, like get inspired by Interstellar Marines. The war game zones, because they're great, but the 40k has 30k and 40k has vehicles, so they are not going to work out for any sort of vehicular combat unless you come up with some other ideas. So I probably, I would get I'm inspired by the maps, let's put it that way. That is probably the best way of putting it out. And I'm currently just putting, as you can see, there's the black, it's sort of just a base coat for the rocks. And now I'm doing the basing for the building. I know that the building is more or less a cream, or it's really light color, and I'm just putting this to the bottom, hoping it gives some sort of, shading, all that jazz. So this is just a beginning, and it looks like shit now, and it hopefully turns out well in the end. I've been watching this Luke's APS channel, Luke's Affordable Painting Services, and when he does terrain, it looks like crap until the very last second, when it's suddenly bam, it looks freaking amazing. It's not gonna happen with this, but it's gonna look hell of a lot better than it does right now. So, I'm sort of just practicing making terrain. Like I said, this is just hot glue and cardboard and some decorative rocks. So, it's not really that usable either, because if I ever make this again, I'm gonna make so you can take the top off, so you can actually move the figures inside. Right now, it's just one solid piece. But it is, technically speaking, functional for 40k. Just a building that, you can technically put units inside, just not too deeply. I'm also not going to paint from inside, because But I just wanted to show this out just a second, just to show how far I've gone with this. The small detailed bits, I just lost. You can see here, you probably can't read the text. Oh, you can. You can't. This is ripped up poster that I plan, let's say, put on this side. And what I'm planning on doing is just scatter the pieces. The story is this would have been a poster on the wall. And, the time and the war has taken a toll, so it's kind of ripped. And that's why I plan to maybe put it there and, this kind of stuff. Finishing touches. And in case you're wondering what does it read, it says, thought of the day. Actually, I have to read it myself. It's one of the quotes from A.I. Sarah. Crying in the face of danger will certainly get you and your team killed. With love, A.I. Sarah. So, sticking to the theme, and I also thought if I ever do aside from the Space Marines, which I have Iron Warriors, if I ever do any Solar Auxilia, which are basically the 30k version of the Imperial Guard, they are just your baseline regular human soldiers. If I ever do them, I sort of want to try to kit bash something that looks like Interstellar Marines. So, after losing the battle against the Iron Warriors, at the whatever sector of the space, the world of the Interstellar Marines, the world of ITO, has finally integrated with the Imperium, and their solo auxilia is sending the Interstellar Marines into the fight, along with the side of the what do you call it? I don't know. Something along those lines. That's my idea and all that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this week's news on their weird new format. I'm just gonna keep painting this grey, let it dry, then do another coat that is much lighter color, and then do all sorts of fun stuff with this. And at some point, I'll show the full thing. You can expect it's probably gonna be one of the unboxing videos. Yeah, it's. I'm gonna showcase this later on when it's probably finished or something like that. I have a lot of things coming in, like I'm waiting for new dices, I've got some new models coming in, and all that jazz. Basically, I have stuff to unbox, so probably during one of those. So you can expect that sort of content from my channel coming in following weeks, following month, and probably during that I might show, or during one of the community wargames, I might show a picture of how, whatever this thing has progressed, or anything like that. So, yeah, I'll showcase this at some point when it's progressing, more or less, or something like that. And hopefully it turns out really cool. And in case you're wondering why am I leaving the rocks like not full, why is it black and all that, and some pieces I'm going full grey, it hopefully later on, like there's gonna be not that much of black as I go through more layers and all that. Hopefully there's just gonna be a little bit black, but the rest of it is gonna be regular color, and it will have shading of this grey, lighter, maybe darker, that sort of thing. And more or less hoping for that, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. Don't forget to check out Esmir's. I believe he was Sergeant Giggles. I don't know, people keep switching their names. I'll probably fix it to the screen to see who it was. If I said the wrong name, bam. Either way, here's a link. He was actually playing on Thursday, so if you want to see what happened during the Thursday, go check out his actual POV of the game, as I was sleeping and all that. And yesterday I was very annoyed that I couldn't go to sauna. Yeah. The damn electric locks. I mean, it's a wonderful invention. It saves water because the person who has their turn to go in the sauna can't do so. It saves water because when the electric lock is engaged, nobody can go in there. So I suppose it saves water. It just makes the person living in the house with their turn unable to use it very mad. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Wargames Tutorial Thursday. I've been your host, your favorite Finn, and we're gonna see you again next week with hopefully on the back to its regular format, and hopefully I have recovered from my sleep apnea, depression, and all that jazz. Until next time, guys, see ya.